that you've played a lot in the past. So you start to look at things like your Lee Sin that is, you know, it's quite a common pick at the moment, but it's still one of those more fringe picks. And the people that have been playing a long time in the jungle, they'll have a lot of experience on Lee Sin, whether he's been meta recently or not. If you've played 1,000 games of him in the past, you're still going to retain that. It's like riding a bike, right?
So you changed, I think you changed the ban strategy right now for Batmani Begins. They actually banned a jungle champion themselves last game. I think it's now better that they don't ban a jungle champion and then they can first pick it, because there was 4 jungle bans specifically for the last draft phase. So now you ban out 3, which you imagine is coming from MNM, and actually then you might actually leave something open for Sankus that he can play, because I don't think Kindred worked out best, especially given that Furion is likely to pick Lee Sin, and you saw how dominant he was last game against the Kindred then. Karma the final ban, so really targeting Haddo and also Rise for Larson, but the final ban I imagine will stick to the gun strategy of MNM, just ban out his jungle pool.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised. I can't say I'm that surprised to see the Karma taken away as well, because Karma can be so influential in these games. And taken away from Haddo, no less. That guy definitely knows how to use it. And in combination with the Sivir as well, that engage was just obscene. But curious to see what the final ban will be here from MNM.
Rek'Sai.
Looks like it is going to be Rek'Sai, yeah.
Same ban strategy they went with last game, just try and chunk out all of the jungle picks for Sankus. They've hovered this Skarner again.
I was going to say, they're hovering it for a second time now. I want to see this locked in.
I think they should. Just go for it. I mean, why not? What have you got to lose at this point in time? Skarner can win games just by himself.
Yeah, so can many champions, though.
Yeah, but from the jungle, especially with everything that's banned out, if you're not going to play Lee Sin, you're not going, well, Gragas I still think could be impactful, but Skarner just run into lane, get a stun, pick someone off with your ultimates, post level 6, try and make ganks happen.
I think the trick is at this point,
getting to
you've
level 6.
You've got to go Vayne jungle, you've got to go all in, get that Devourer, run around with your little Spirit Wolf.
Dude.
Rest in peace, Spirit Wolf.
Rest in peace, Spirit Wolf. Yeah, Vayne top, Vayne anywhere. I think what they should actually play is, we're just going to play the super hyper late game composition. They're actually going to pick up Lee Sin for Sankus here, so Furion not going to get his hands on that this time round. What will we see Furion go with now?
I think it will be that Gragas. I wouldn't be surprised to see that, but I think Sankus has got his work cut out right now. When we just saw Furion basically showing off on that Lee Sin last game, he was going for these fancy ward hops, going for all the insects and things like that. I mean, at that mid lane tier 3 tower, when he was just hopping around the entire area to get the insect, you've got a lot cut out right now, Sankus, if you want to match up to Furion's level of play. Only Angel insta-locking the Aurelia once again. Interesting that he does just straight away go for that despite all of the bans. Like, the fact that there's been no top lane bans whatsoever, still just prioritizing Aurelia.
He's been a very, very good Aurelia player, though. Last season, he was fantastic. You know, a lot of people were sort of like, I did say Nidalee was still open, and therefore, we know Furion. I think Nidalee was actually banned last series, and we know Furion is a ridiculous Nidalee player, so he's going to get his hands on probably his most played jungle champion. So you've taken away Lee Sin, but you've unfortunately unlocked or unleashed the Cougar, which was Furion's fantastic Nidalee play, and we're looking forward to seeing that one. Now, Nyx told me he was going to pick something special. If he doesn't pick Shaco or Jhin mid like he told me he would, then I'm going to be severely disappointed. Well,
speaking of Sivir, that is still an option available for MNM, and I would not be surprised to see that picked up in their next
rotation. Did I say Sivir?
You said severely.
I thought I might have said Shaco as Sivir, and I got really confused. So I would fully expect full Disco Nunu builds from everybody right now from Batmani Begins. I think that is the key to victory.
It's certainly a solid strategy, but in fact, Tom, Kench, and Jhin going to be locked in.
I think
I saw your little fist pump there. You're like, this is going to be Jhin mid.
It won't be Jhin mid, right?
It will probably go to Chris. I think. I don't know what Nyx is going to take to the mid lane. I'm still hoping. I'm hoping for Zed right now. That's what I'm holding on for.
Well, Larson looks like he's thinking about Gangplank. Now, that's something that Larson has played considerable amounts of from the mid lane. I saw him play it during the League Fest again. That seems to be the most recent highlighting of his champion pool. It hasn't changed too much. He's thinking about taking away Zed from Nyx himself. Smiley thinking about Jinx here. Wow, that's a bit of a throwback.
Yeah, I think we should go back to not analysing hovers, because that's what we've done all Champion Select so far, and they've pretty much always been changed. But let's have a look. I mean, across the matchups right now, the only one that's actually fully locked in is this jungle matchup. Lee Sin versus Nidalee. I mean, how do you think that pans out? Because typically both of these are They're known for their early game pressure.
Skill matchup, in my opinion. I think Lee Sin's got slightly stronger ganks, but honestly, I think it's a bit of a skill matchup. Lee Sin can be aggressive to Nidalee in the early jungle, especially if you can get up close to Nidalee so she can't get a max range spear onto you. The issue is when you're Lee Sin and you aren't aggressive and Nidalee is aggressive against you and lands a max range spear, you're always going to be on the losing end of the trade. Whereas, you know, if Lee Sin can sneak into Nidalee's jungle while she's taking a buff, land a Q, get close to her, then he actually has the advantage. It's kind of how you play your transitions into the jungle, how you play your aggression, because I think the person who takes the impetus and goes for the counter jungle, as long as they aren't seen, probably has the advantage if they can try and catch someone out at a buff. But honestly, I think it's fairly even between these two. I think this is going to be Synergy playing Tahm Kench support. I imagine this will be Jhin AD carry, unless I'm being lied to, unless I'm not being lied to by Nyx and he takes it to the mid lane.
Yeah, Jhin versus Jinx as well. This is a matchup I don't think I've ever seen. I don't think Jinx has been meta while Jhin has existed in the game. So this is going to be an interesting one with Soraka versus Tahm Kench as well. Two of the most obnoxious supports to deal with. I mean, how do you even think this lane is going to go? Because this is a bit of an odd one.
I don't think there's going to be kill pressure unless Lee Sin comes through. You really want to be trying to devour the Soraka with the Tahm Kench, but that'll be difficult with just a Jhin in lane with you, unless you can get a basically the tongue slash or whatever it's called onto Soraka, follow that up with the snare from the Jhin, then maybe you have the opportunity to lock up Soraka, but she will just probably throw down a silence to stop you doing so, and then you'll get locked up when you try to move forward. So this will be kind of a passive lane in my opinion. Gonna see level 99 Yordle taking taking Fiora into Irelia in the top lane here, and that's a matchup that can swing either way. Really depends kind of who gets the stun, for instance. If you can block the stun with your riposte, then obviously Fiora is in a winning position in that particular scenario. Very, very swing matchup there for the mid laner. And we are going to see Nyx picking up the Syndra here, so it's going to be up to Larssen to think up what he wants to take into that particular matchup.
Varus,
wow,
of all things, going to be the pick. I'm going to say, I feel like that's a little bit of a risky mid laner to go against such an all-in pick in terms of Syndra. Well, I mean, we'll have to see how that is going to pan out. Obviously, I fully trust that Larssen has probably played this matchup before. He knows these champions very, very well. And with Varus as well, you can stay very, very far back. So
you should be able to outrange Syndra for the most part. That's the biggest key here. And obviously, you can consistently apply pressure with your piercing arrow, and actually Syndra probably won't be able to respond. You're never going to be really getting close enough to Syndra to put yourself at a visible threat to being stunned or all in. So I see the theory here behind Larssen's pick, but I guess now that we have the compositions all locked in, we should start to talk about them much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, looking across at Batmani Begins composition, I think this is definitely, they've got a few power picks on their side now. This is the kind of composition where if they can get the ball rolling, they'll really start to run away with things.
So they're going to have a split push in the form of Fiora. Fiora does only one job, and that's split pushing. However, you combine that with a Jhin ultimate, make it easier for her to isolate targets with her ultimate or slow them down and get burst kills. Could see her maybe have an impact in a team fight. However, when you come to the four-man fight, let's take Fiora out of the picture for the moment. You're really looking to take one person out, maybe. Jhin slows them with the ultimate, they get locked up by the Syndra stun, maybe they pick off one person and siege with that. But otherwise, the team fight isn't particularly strong. But then talking of not strong team fights, you look over at MNM, they don't really have that much strong team fight. The best way they have a team fight that plays out for them is you have the Varus ultimate to keep everyone engaged, and then you just peel back with the Soraka and Jinx. You just consistently heal Jinx, you peel back, double AD carry. The tower push and siege from MNM is out of this world. I was about to say, I don't think they're looking to team fight, judging by their composition. They're basically looking to replicate what they did last game, in that if they can take any kind of early leads, Furion will just be right up in their faces in the jungle. Only Angel can join him if he wants, or he can just go for the split push. But then you've got a Varus, you've got a Jinx. They can melt towers, they can just rotate around the map, taking these objectives. And worst case scenario, they can just go for that 1-3-1 again. Their siege is incredible as well, because there is very little wave clear, I would say, for Batmani Begins, because yes, Syndra has got wave clear innately built in, but unfortunately it's not fantastic. It's you clear, it's quite slow with your orbs. It's quite short range short range. Whereas just a poke from Nidalee, from Larssen, even to an extent from Jinx when she has fully upgraded rockets, That's pretty huge. And if you can force people away from turrets and give yourself free opportunity, especially with Soraka, who is just going to consistently sustain your damage dealers, just poke them away from turrets. You've got easy money when it comes to taking down structures. So very good turret destruction coming out, very good siege. The poke always does well against siege, and without Braum on the table, there isn't going to be many ways for Batmani Begins to defend it. And then it just comes up to this split push matchup in the top lane. It's going to be Fiora versus Aurelia. Now, if only Angel can get ahead, he will steamroll through this Fiora, but if Fiora can stay level and get ahead, play well in these engages, she will steamroll through Aurelia. So it's a really interesting top lane matchup, and actually that could be the key for Batmani Begins to make a play or win happen. But if Batmani Begins can make their skirmish team fight happen, if they can lock people up with the Jhin ultimate into a full combo Syndra ultimate, that's going to be deleting one of the 4 very squishy targets remaining here for MNM. But I don't think MNM will let it happen. Let it get to that. They're going to again want to take very quick structures and rotate.
Yeah, I've got to say as well, ever since Legion came out, level 99 Yordle looks a lot weaker. He's now 11 levels away from max. So
how long were you thinking that went up, my friend?
Just while you were talking, I was just waiting for my turn to talk.
It was a long time, right? Because I was talking a long time.
I was just like, I just want to say my pun. But yeah, like, I think this is still going to be tricky for Batmani, regardless of composition. I do think that, you know, MNM, they are just such a strong team that I think they could make just about any composition work right about now. But at the same time, I don't want to take anything away from Batmani. You know, at the end of the day, they've made it to the Premiership this time. This is the first time they've been to the Premiership, and they're up against pretty much the first seed. So, or at least like first, second tied seed, I guess. So, you know, this is expected to be a challenge for them, I think it's fair to say.
Let's you know, look at it this way. You're taking all of the pressure off Batmani Begins right now, because if they lose, they're not out. They go down to the losers bracket. They might as well just play as freely as physically possible to give themselves the best opportunity to try and do something against MNM here.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be heading on to Summoner's Rift for the second game in this best of 3 between MNM and Batmani Begins. Batmani on your blue side and MNM over on the red side of the map. It is 1-0 in this series so far, and we'll see whether MNM can continue to steamroll in this matchup, or whether Batmani are going to have something to say about it and actually fight their way back into this series. I definitely feel like their draft has been a lot stronger this game than it was last game.
I actually really didn't mind their composition. At least their composition had a point last game. I don't think it was particularly strong, but compared to GLB, who, while I just think they kind of picked random stuff, at least Batmani Begins had a theory behind their draft. You know, they were looking for a heavy controlled team fight where they had Kennen and everyone peeling for Cassiopeia, and then Cassiopeia turns things round. This time round, I agree. They've got more power picks. They have the Fiora to split push in the top lane. Might be able to hold himself better against only Angel there. They also have Nyx on Syndra, which we've seen be impactful. And obviously, we've got Schoolboy P picking up Jhin, which is a pretty solid you know, AD carry pick.
Yeah, certainly well. Larson already landing the first shot there. Nick's going to pop up his mastery emote. So we'll see how this one is going to pan out, as the jungle minions will surely spawn soon, and we'll be able to get this game underway. But Smiley and Haddo pushing super far up the lane. They realise that it is going to be a jungle camp to start things off for their opponents in Schoolboy P and Synergy. They're looking to punish this one thoroughly. Don't actually shove it too quick, though.
No, absolutely not. They want to basically force it to tower when they've taken the jungle camp there. They want to make sure they at least try and deny some experience. But that didn't happen. And actually looks like it's going to be level 2 for Schoolboy P. What can you do with a level 2 Jhin, though? That's what I was thinking, you know. What can you actually do in this scenario? You're not really getting a power spike. You're not trying to play against the level 2 power spike. You're just giving yourself a slight experience advantage. I guess you maybe look for a lockup with the Devour, but that didn't quite happen because of the pressure that both Smiley and Haddo managed to put down.
Absolutely. Well, so far things are looking fine for MNM, because if you take a look toward the mid lane, Nyx is not having a fun time of it. Almost double the CS right now for Larson Reborn. He is doing some fantastic stuff. The power of the Phoenix within him, as he has been reborn once again in this MNM roster. But we'll see. I mean, MNM so far not going for anything too crazy. Furion not deciding to go for anything aggressive. And the same from Sankuz, both of them sticking to their own jungle to start with.
Absolutely, and Furion just trying to make... He's doing a full clear here, by the way, literally trying to clear as much as possible. But look at Sankuz. He looks like he wants to be aggressive into Furion's blue buff, and Furion is moderately low right now. Does get away with taking his blue buff, however.
I think he might go towards the mid lane,
you
know.
Yeah.
As Larson is here, still has both of his summoners, though, and actually... Sankuz has been pinged out. I think they're aware that he is hanging around. They have that ward in River, and Furion is going to start the fight onto him. Look at the damage coming out from Furion. That's going to be a rain of arrows laying down onto him. Piercing arrow is going to be flashed away from. Nyx has to flash as well, though, as Furion jumps onto tower. Will get healed up, though. Hado was waiting in the wings just to be that emergency unicorn ambulance that everybody needs. And all in all, no kills go either way right now.
Look at level 99 Yordle putting pressure onto Only Angel here. Going for that Doran's Blade start, so always was going to win trades in this particular scenario, as Smiley looks to clear those waves with the Jinx. Jinx feels really clunky to me right now. I definitely don't think she's up there as top tier. I just feel like the transition from your Fishbones to Pow Pow, I think it's called, feels so clunky at this point in time. You lose a lot of attack speed. It doesn't feel quite right to play. But obviously, we all know that Jinx, if she gets a certain amount of items, if she gets a little bit of weight behind her kit, can just run away with things purely by the amount of damage she can do with that rocket form as well.
And I think as well, it's a similar thing to Tristana, right, where you get those resets. You get to just continue to plow through a team if you get on the winning end of a team fight. Nyx is incredibly low in this mid lane. Needs to be careful with the way Furion is playing. He's starting to... I mean... Just a minute ago, I was mentioning how these junglers haven't been aggressive. The second I said it, though, everyone started to go ham. Yordle taking a huge amount of damage from Only Angel, and this is one of the tricky things in this lane for the Fiora is Irelia has so much sustain from that hidden style.
Yeah, and you've got to pick your moments very carefully when you go in with Fiora, because if you use that riposte at the wrong time, you open up for an equilibrium strike, and suddenly that's when Irelia is going to look to trade efficiently with you. So you need to be super careful in this 1v1. And actually, Only Angel punishing Yordle again in that top lane, making use of that sustain, going back in onto to the Yordle, who has used his last part. And there is one Corruption Potion charge left here for Only Angel.
And Angel could be in trouble, though. Nice flash does come out from him. Level 99 Yordle actually matches the flash and ends up taking a tower shot for it. So, not convinced by the decision to flash forward there from him.
Neither am I.
But overall, nobody goes down. And actually, this has been neck and neck in terms of kills so far, but when you look at the CS, it's a completely different story. Look at this mid lane right now, 20 CS lead already over Nyx right now, but Furion is in trouble. Sankuz is already on the case, gets the Sonic Wave, is going to be able to follow up, but Furion will not go down. He will be able to survive that situation.
Yeah, he does manage to get out. Didn't have his flash, so was vulnerable to getting stunned up there, but he did manage to dodge the stun from Nick, which was the biggest thing, I would say, there for him. He managed to escape after not really receiving much damage from a singular longsword Lee Sin. If that Lee Sin had his Caulfield Warhammer, I would imagine that Furion would have gone down, but he didn't, and that wasn't the case, and now Furion is going to be able to clear more camps and head back to base with a almost 15 CS advantage over his opposing jungler, which is what we expect to see from an Italy.
Yeah, Smiley maybe in a bit of trouble here, but the silence comes out there from Hado, and that is just going to ruin Synergy's day. It means he can't get that Devour out, and it means that Smiley will be able to walk away. And the thing is, the most frustrating thing about going against this kind of lane is, even if you get that harass down, Hado is easily going to be able to just replenish his AD carry spell pool.
That's just frustrating about Soraka, especially with a lane that can't lock down Soraka particularly easily. You just, all the damage you're going to get onto Smiley is just going to be instantaneously regenerated. That is a Soraka lane in a nutshell.
Yeah, absolutely is. Now we're going to see Furion going back into his own jungle. He's kind of done with Sankuz's jungle for a little bit, and he's just looking to make sure to keep on getting that farm, and he is starting to build himself up a bit of a lead when it comes to that farm as well. He's a level up on his opposing jungler, already having that level 6. As does just about all of the rest of his team. It's only the bot lane that haven't got those ults at this stage. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see them starting to look for fights at this stage now that Larson especially has his ultimate. Definitely a massive engage tool.
Yeah, for sure. I do feel like it's been a little bit tamer. They're going to go on to...
There it is.
Yeah.
They go on to Nyx, land a couple of shots. Just the single spear is all Furion wants to add to this fight. Larssen is going to go down, though, in exchange for that. I'm not sure what happened with Furion there. It was off screen. I don't know whether he
I think he failed his jump, maybe.
He must have done.
And maybe he didn't think that he needed to go in after just landing a max range spear.
In the end, though, 1-for-1 trade. First blood did go the way of Larssen, but you know, I think Nyx is going to be quite happy with that one, just being able to get the trade at very least. It's better than just going down, and I think a little bit of an undercommitment to that fight from Furion coming out there, a little bit of a misplay, but all in all, they're still going to be alright with that one. They're still 1,500 gold ahead of their opponents, but here we go, both junglers heading up towards this top lane. Only Angel getting the Equilibrium strike, but with no stun. The junglers are having their own 1v1, as Only Angel does not allow the Grand Challenge to go through. Sankers is losing out his fight as well. He's incredibly low. Furion going to look for the max range spear if he can find it. In fact, jumping forwards first. He doesn't want to miss this one. He wants to make sure he has every opportunity to land it. Will jump forwards, will hurl that javelin, but Sankers is going to be able to sidestep that one and walk away safely.
Bot lane, he did miss it on screen, but there was a massive engage where Schoolboy P and Synergy got absolutely schooled in the mechanics of a 2v2 matchup, and Smiley walks away with it. They're going to get first brick gold once again. That will start to allow these rotations to top lane to happen out again, and MNM beginning that snowball lead that we know them for so well. And you can already see massive defensive vision coming out from Batmani Begins. Look at this pink ward placement. A pink ward in a very defensive position in the bot lane. A pink ward defensively entering their red side jungle. It is already knowing the way this game is going to go. They're setting up to try and make picks on over-aggressive members of MNM.
Yeah, absolutely. Larssen taking a little bit of damage there, but he's happy to go for these trades at this stage. He's already got his pickaxe as well as a tier, so heading towards that Muramana, but actually Nyx has locked him down. Flash immediately comes out from Larssen over the wall. We'll be able to trade it back a little bit, but I think Nyx is going to be very happy having burnt that summoner. Also,
watch the Only Angel and Fiora matchup, where, or rather the Only Angel and Yordle matchup, where you see every time that riposte is used inconsequentially, Only Angel finds the opportunity to go straight in there for the engage. Uses Equilibrium Strike without need for the stun or anything. And that's the way you see this matchup on a micro level get played out, because the only thing that can really throw a spanner in the works for Irelia is if riposte is used on the Equilibrium Strike, which allows some free vitals to be hit. But look at the rotations already, forcing Fiora back, picking up another turret, and gold lead at 10 minutes is going to stretch out to just over 4k.
Certainly is. Not as convincing as the first game here today, but it's certainly still looking pretty damn good for them. That's going to be a flash through from Fury, and he says, you know what, I didn't commit to the last one. This time I'm going to commit absolutely everything. Nyx is going to go down, and along with him will go his top lane tier 2, and I believe his mid lane tier 1 as well. This is bad news for Batmani Begins. Actually, the mid lane tower maybe will survive this specific push, but it's certainly starting to feel the pinch just a little bit.
Yeah, I think they are going to back off. I don't think they'll be able to get it on this particular round of pushes, but the problem Batmani Begins had there is they tried to race in terms of turret taking against the Jinx, who's just not going to happen. Jinx going for the traditional Jinx build, by the way, going straight for the Infinity Edge first, and then probably into the Runan's Hurricane. We might even see Runan's Hurricane finished first. It's just because I thought maybe he'd go for an Infinity Edge, given that he'd finished the pickaxe as well. But having picked up the tension bow, I think it is tension bow.
Recurve bow.
Recurve bow. Tension bow is something completely different. Picking up the recurve bow, that's obviously spelling that he might actually try to prioritize the pick off there first.
Absolutely. Well, Hado going to take a bit of damage there coming through from Schoolboy P with his curtain call, but in the end, it is onto a Soraka, so he should be able to just get a couple of Starfalls and heal himself back up. Look at the spears from Furion as well, straight onto the enemy AD carry. Furion, he's got no fear as well. He could just walk forwards like that because he has that Soraka behind him. He will get topped up pretty quickly once again. And just look at the poke that's going to start to come out from this MNM lineup. If this kind of battle goes on for a while and they can continuously just throw those abilities out, they will be able to slowly but surely chip away at the enemy. Here comes Batmani though. The kick comes landing onto Larssen. They can't quite finish it off though. They don't have the damage right now, and Nyx will end up going down. Synergy just about surviving right there, but he got locked up for so long. Yordle is on the back line though, trying to do what he can. Furia just narrowly avoids that deadly flourish, and They're just being danced around at this stage. They can't seem to finish off any kills. Batmani begins slowly but surely running out of sorts.
It was a good theory there for Sankus to make that play happen. Just felt a little bit clunky, not quick enough, and Larssen had time then for Hado to catch up and provide the healing needed. Unfortunately, the Soraka, Schoolboy manages to escape there with the shield from Sankus, but Sankus may end up paying for his life with it. No, he won't.
If that piercing arrow had hit, that would have been the end of Sankus. Sure. It was only a millimeter away, but in the end, it doesn't quite find its target. Larssen should be able to steal away this blue buff just as insult to injury at that stage. And then they all head back over to base. So managing to grab themselves a 9,000 gold lead at just 13 minutes in the game.
So you said it wasn't quite as dominant as last game. It just took them a little bit longer to ramp up.
Yeah, and now it's very much this same kind of game show. And I think I like that this, while they are as dominant as Banditos were last season, it's a completely different style to what we saw from Banditos last season. Last season, it was all about the Banditos just win lane, win game, and they just stay in those lanes the entire game and just slowly but surely bleed their enemy out.
Sure.
MNM, it's much more about the team play. It's much more about grouping up, using a composition to its maximum capacity and making that work.
I'd say actually last game, like we talked about in terms of Bandito playstyle, I'd actually say last game was a little bit more Banditos-esque in terms it was kind of win lane, win game in that last series. But this game is completely back to that MNM that I feel like we knew from the Season 1 of the ESL Premiership, where it was kind of, they were very tactics heavy. Larssen going to get kicked.
That was a good silence there from Hado, but Larssen manages to dodge the stun from Nyx. He is in a bit of trouble though. Sankus continuing to stick onto him. Hado is here to heal out his AD carry though, or I guess not technically AD carry, but Sankus does manage to finish off the kill in the end. This is good news for Batmani, but Only Angel is here to punish. Nyx manages to keep him away. But can they keep themselves alive? Synergy getting chased down now by Furion. And I think that is going to be the end of the Toad at this rate. There's a solo kill in the bottom lane as well from AD carry to AD carry. Smiley going to be pretty happy about that situation. And he's going to be able to steal away a red buff, no less.
Yeah, but playing towards the win conditions for MNM has been very key this game. They knew they had quick turret take with the Jinx. They've played around taking quick turrets, utilizing the pressure that they have across the map, and actually some of the decisions from Batmani Begins they've punished by taking yet more turrets. They've done it here again. Some bad decision making, looking for fights in the mid lane, has resulted in them getting another load of turrets under their belt, and they've extended that gold lead to 11k almost now. But yeah, I think this game has been a bit more of a classic representation of playing to a composition strength that we know the old Manolite roster for. But this time round, or rather in the previous game, I did feel like it was a little bit more, maybe in the whole way the game was played, just that win lane, win game feeling, because a lot more kills happened in lane last game compared to this game, so we're seeing it a little bit more tamed this time round.
Absolutely. Just look at how much Larssen is able to just chunk people out at this stage. He's already got his Mana Moon now, and he's gone for a Hex Drinker as well. So basically no chance that Nyx can just one-shot him anymore, and that's kind of the answer that they had to this Varus, is if they could get close, they would be able to shut him down with that unlimited power. But Furion is going to walk into a Death Brush here and immediately flashes away. Hado is here, though. Will be able to continue to spam those heals out. Is it going to be enough, though? Furion in a lot of trouble. Curtain Call comes on out. The support is in trouble now. Hado, can he escape? Only Angel trying to body block and will be able to do so. Death Rocket comes on through. They trade 1-for-1. Only Angel goes in for a double kill, and now Synergy is left out to dry, and that's not a good situation for a Toad. Nyx is the next target, and he will be attacked down. There are people in the bush, man. It was a good effort.
He tried to do it.
It was a valiant effort, but there were people still in the brush. So unfortunately, Nyx gets taken out in the end, and now they all head towards this mid lane.
I feel like this is kind of like Batmani Begins saying, well, our win condition is to play Fnatic brush style and just try and make death brushes happen. With Soraka, especially when Soraka is right next to the target that you need to basically blow up, that buys your team an extra 5 seconds or so for them to group around this death brush attempt, and you saw it there from MNM. Instantaneously, Hado was trying to body block. He bought at least 5 to 10 seconds against... Okay.
Oh my, look at the damage going out on Schoolboy P right there. That is actually disgusting. Just a single piercing arrow and then just a couple of auto attacks, and he's basically dead at that point. Smiley has no fear whatsoever. Didn't have red buff, so Sankus will survive just about. It was a close one. And just, I mean, how do you even get close to this team?
This is just the siege right now. You're seeing the extreme long-range siege of Nidalee, Varus, and Jinx, just unable for Batmani begins to even touch them at this point in time. It's pretty huge. You can see that anytime anyone gets close, they get forced away by this long-range poke. And we might see them try and open up with a Jhin ultimate at some point, but you can just see instantaneously Nyx has got to back off, as does Sankas soon ASAP. So just don't see many ways right now for Batmani Begins to deal with this.
Yeah, it's certainly starting to look just a little bit dire in this situation. 3 to 14.
He snipes him!
That unfortunately wasn't on camera as Only Angel 1v1ing Yordle. But it was going to be a kill going the way of Smiley. I believe it was with a Death Rocket. Sankas now in a bit of trouble. He's going to be the next target, but he can't even get near to this tower. It will go down. The inhibitor will fall as well. The piercing arrow's just been thrown out left, right, and center. And Larson still got half of his mana to work with. He could just throw these arrows all day long. Now they hit to the bottom lane. They're looking for a second inhibitor to boot, and they're going to be able to find it. There's no way this is contestable at this stage. There it goes. Inhibitor will be next. The curtain call comes on through. Maybe they can make something happen, but Only Angel happy to tank those shots. Synergy on the front line right now, but it is going to be Smiley. Gets caught out. Sankas with a nice kick there. Devoured by Synergy. Can they finish off the AD carry? It doesn't look like it. They finally do, but at what cost? Nyx is the last man remaining. He'll get finished off. Only Angel grabs another one for himself. Furion with the double kill. And well, I think that might be all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen, for Batmani Begins here in the Premiership. They go down into the losers bracket because MNM, they're going to make short work of this one. They're going to finish this game in under 20 minutes. If they can actually do this push right now, they're running out of minions and the respawns will be coming through shortly. They have only one AD carry because Smiley died during the fight. He was the one that had all the tower taking capabilities. Synergy jumps in just to stall things out and will be able to survive just about with his life. Furion does get rooted, but will be able to escape. And what do you know about that? It is going to be Batmani Begins holding on to the fight.
What do you know about that?
What do you know about that?
What do you know about that?
They're trying to get it to catch on.
Yeah, I think it's a good phrase. I'm going to say that all the time now.
He was trying to say, what do you know about that?
I like it.
What do you know?
What do you know about that?
What do you know about that?
What do you know about League of Legends, fool?
What?
I'm just trying to make my own
Just trying to join the Jackson 5 at this point.
I was actually an original founding member of the Jackson 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one were you, Jackson?
Ex-Scoundrel Jackson.
Oh.
Or actually,
we actually know one of the
Action
Jacksons from Jackson 5.
Action Jackson.
Sigalas.
Sigalas, or AKA Action Jackson.
Action Jackson. I helped him pick that username.
Did you?
In fact, I persuaded him to use that username. It was my idea. So
it's got
Smiley has gone down. Rip. Triple kill comes out for him. Just looking for the 1v5 at this point. Synergy. He's been found out by Only Angel, who for some reason doesn't want to go for the fight. Actually, no, he does. He was just waiting for Blade Surge. Yordle, the last man remaining, just desperately trying to hold on against the super minions right now. But it's not even the super minions he has to worry about. It's this horde of champions that is charging towards this tower. Only Angel just waiting for an opportunity to go on to level 99. Yordle, Sankas, sorry, has respawned at this stage. And to be honest, I'm not 100% sure that MNM are taking this all too seriously right now.
No, they could have focused down that turret a little bit more readily, but looks like they're just having a bit more fun with the end of the game, waiting for the prime opportunity to just take that open Nexus and propel their way into the winner's bracket final. It's not something that everyone wants, you know.
Yeah. Well, Larson is going to get kicked back, but at what cost? Sankas just gets deleted. Synergy walking forward will pop that bubble on his grey health, but I'm not sure it's really going to save him. Piercing arrow comes on through, and it's another kill going the way of Larson in the end. And I mean, just look at this. They can easily finish the game, but they want more kills. They're looking to finish people off. The Death Rocket is going to be blocked by Yordle, but the supers have arrived. And look at this, just pure destruction. They're pretty much on the fountain at this point. Yordle can't even get back to safety. The parry will not save you now, friend. Nyx is going to go down as a double kill. Comes through for Larson. 7-2 and 10 on him. You got 8-2 and 10 as well on Smiley. And well,
despite all that faffing around, I think that was actually a quicker game than the first.
It was, yeah.
It was actually a quicker game than the first.
I think the first one was 24, that one was 22.
That was a slow start, but accelerated super quickly. And I said to you, when we saw the GLB composition with Tristana, the way you win League of Legends now is just by taking lots and lots and lots of turrets very quickly.
And speaking of turrets, they were 10-1 turrets at the end of that game, which, you know, 10 is not actually the maximum turrets you can take.
It's 11.
There is 11.
So it's 11-1.
Bit disappointing, really.
Yeah, they didn't get all the turrets.
Their win condition was to get the turrets down.
They didn't get all the turrets, did they? They didn't get the top lane inhibitor turret. I thought you just miscounted, but that's just me being silly.
I'm actually pretty good at counting.
You're actually pretty good at counting.
I can count all the way to 11, would you believe it? I completed my GCSEs. But unfortunately, that's the end of the League of Legends for tonight. Let's take... Actually, I don't know if production's ready for this one. I'm going to throw a spanner in the works. Let's take a look at our bracket and see how the night has ended on this one. I'm getting some serious death stares from production at that point after that comment, I think. But
well, I've broken the fourth wall or whatever it's called, so we can just talk to them directally.
They're a part of the broadcast, I think. ESL Premgrams. That's the hashtag
ESL
on Twitter.
Premgrams, yeah. If you want to complain about ESL production, it's
hashtag ESL
Premgrams. Specifically, tag someone called Sam. He'll want to know all of your particular.
What, at someone called Sam?
At Sam. He'll want to know all of your. He'll want to know all of your particular comments. I know he takes it very seriously.
Okay, well, if not, just crack it in Twitch chat as well. But let's take a look at our bracket to round out the night. This is what Group B is looking like. MNM, as you just saw, taking a convincing win against Batmani, begins 2-0, and they're going to be moving forward in the winner bracket. And it means Batmani begins will be moving into that lower bracket. And next week, we'll see who they'll be up against in Sensei versus XL Esports. But fantastic stuff coming out from MNM. And our Group A has already finished as well. Last Remedy have qualified as well as TCA. We are going to be seeing them at playoffs at Comic-Con. Here is how it all happened. 2-0 to Last Remedy over TCA, and then TCA managed to defeat GLB earlier on today in our lower bracket final. So that's two of our teams locked in, and we'll see who the other two teams are in the upcoming 2 weeks. But as well, make sure you head over to Twitter, because we're going to have a poll online to decide who is the MVP of this series. We had Yoppa as the MVP earlier on today, and we'll find out who is the MVP of this series. We're on Twitter at ESL UK, and it'll be, using the hashtag ESL Prem. That's how you can find the poll and get involved. And all the VODs, in case you missed any of the games, will be up on YouTube tomorrow as well, so make sure to check that out. But I have been Munchables for you guys. This has been Keenan X Scoundrel Low, and we are going to be saying good night, and we will see you guys next week.